Have you ever cold approached a woman during the day, sober, told her she's beautiful? If you have not, probably because it's really hard. I know it is. And if you have, you know especially it is really hard. I know because I've done it thousands of times. You look cool. You like the flower. It's cute.
Thank
Good
you.
figure. And then you looked at me and I'm like, oh my God. It took me a while to get into it, but eventually I became quite good at getting contact details. You know, chatting up girls, charming them, having a conversation and getting their phone number. I will take your number and I will text you. But then the next challenge for me was actually staying in touch with them, actually getting them out on a date. What I thought I'm doing wrong must have been my texting, right? So I was downloading different courses and guides on texting. I was asking my friends who are generally better at texting than me. And I was really trying to get the hang of it. It didn't really make a massive difference though. The real key, the real thing that changed my dating life, that really lowered my flake rate and that ultimately 10x'd my dating, is focusing on one thing, and that is my social media profile, basically my Instagram profile. So in this very short video, I want to go through 4 reasons why you have to have an Instagram profile in 2023 if you want to be a desirable bachelor. In this video, we're gonna cover the following topics. First of all, your first impression on Instagram and how to make it a good one. Second of all, how you can, with the right techniques, make a girl chase you instead of you chasing them. Thirdly, why it is so weird and not the right thing anymore to not have an Instagram these days. And fourth, how you can, with the power of social media, turn a maybe or a girl that's maybe friend-zoned you into a potential lover. So let's get started. So the first mindset I want you to have is that Instagram is, in 2023, your dating profile. Forget about Tinder, forget about Bumble, forget about anything else. The real dating happens on Instagram. And why is that? Well, first of all, because everybody's on it. Can you add me? Because I deleted the app.
Sure.
I still use it, but because I'm a drug addict and the drug is Instagram.
The drug, okay, so
Like-
I'm gonna talk to you like,
No, I use it on my desktop because it's every time I open my phone, I want to check Instagram.
yeah, like this.
Exactly. And I got shit to do, so. I assume you want to date beautiful young women. And of course, there's always a dream of, I want a girl who's not on social media, you know, who's but also really beautiful, but she's so balanced that she doesn't need the attention and so on. That's a nice fantasy, but the reality is having Instagram for a young, beautiful woman comes with a lot of benefits. And to be quite frank, she would be dumb, she would be crazy not to use these benefits. So we have to accept the fact that if she's young, if she's desirable, if she's beautiful, she's probably having a social media presence, which means she's on there and she will check you out. You meet her at the bus stop, you meet her on the street, you meet her in a bar, you meet her in a club, you meet her at a house party. First thing that's gonna happen is you're gonna connect on Instagram. And this is where the real storytelling is beginning, okay? I know out of experience, and if you've done any cold approach or any form of approaching as well, you know conversations only last so long. Maybe it's 3 minutes, maybe it's 10 minutes, maybe it's even 30 minutes, but more than less, more often than not, the fact is that conversations are quite short and you cannot tell everything about you, especially because really you as a man, your duty early on in a conversation is to draw investment out of her, to make her talk, not to tell her so much about you because she doesn't care at that point anyway. Cool. You connect on Instagram. Now you can use your platform, your feed, your marketing message to tell about yourself. I have the 4 principles what makes a good Instagram profile. You can click below to download that free guide, short video guide where I explain my strategy. But basically, you want to show her your passions. You want to show her your activity. You want to show that you are sometimes outdoor. You want to show your social circle. You want to show kind of how you feel, how you think, how you see the world for stories, and kind of who you are on the feed, to keep it really short here. So you can communicate so much about you on that profile on a platform that she's gonna be on for sure and that she's regularly checking in on, versus in real life, you saw her once and then, you know, the alternative would be to chase her up on WhatsApp to see her again. You want to use this powerful fact that she's on it all the time for hours a day to communicate about yourself and tell you more about you. Second reason why Instagram is so powerful is it completely replaces texting and it has many advantages over the texting game. Texting is hard, right? A lot of people want to sell you texting guides, and I know because I bought a lot of them, and none of them really work, to be quite frank. The reason is texting is hard, it's annoying, it requires quite a big attention span, which people don't have anymore. It requires you to be creative every time you engage someone. It requires the other person, the girl, to be also creative every time she engages with you, right? Like imagine you haven't texted a girl for a week and you want to check in with her again. What are you going to write? Are you just going to say, hey, how has your week been? How is exam season? Did you have a nice time at the beach? Haha. Like it's weird, right? It doesn't fit anymore in today's time and age. On Instagram, you can react to stories. She can post something and in context you can react to it. Maybe she posts a story about having a matcha and you're like, oh my god, I love matcha so much more than coffee.
Nope.
Or she posts a story about standing in front of a certain museum and you post like, oh man, I love that museum, I remember going there with my mom when I was young, or something, right? Like whatever she posts, she obviously cares about it, and then you can react to that and there is a connection straight away. Versus, again, the texting thing where there's just no context. You need to make up stuff out of thin air, which some guys are really good at. I have friends, they're really good at texting, they're very creative, but it requires a lot of effort. Beautiful on Instagram. And the best part, she can do the same to you. If you become a good visual storyteller, if you are good at posting stuff, and by good I mean decent, because the competition is really shit. If you follow some of the principles I teach in my guides, you're already in the top 10%. She reacts to you, she's investing in you, she likes what you're posting, maybe she puts a like, maybe she puts an emoji, which is basically an invitation for you to reach out. So now you have the power to broadcast your message and kind of check who resonates with it and who not. And then the girls who do resonate with it, some of the girls you met on the street or at parties, you can now reach out to. They're basically inviting you in. They are saying, hey, John, I like your stuff. I would like to see you again, in a very, very, very subtle way, which females do. It allows a female to basically show, hey, I'm interested in you, without her actually texting that, because that's not a very female thing. Very cool, very powerful. And the main reason why this is so powerful is it totally eradicates the chase, the neediness, which, as I mentioned in many other videos, is the absolute worst thing a guy can be. Needy, chasing a girl, constantly in her inbox, constantly following her, right? It basically is screaming at her, I'm not worthy, I don't have any options, I really need you. And by double and triple and quadruple texting her on WhatsApp or iMessage or whatever, you're doing exactly that. So this is why her being able to engage with your content and having a balanced investment is really key for creating connection, for creating seduction, for creating a romantic energy between you guys. Reason number 3 why you need an Instagram profile is because not having one is just weird. I've seen it over and over. Guys think they're special or they're old school or they're real gentlemen if they don't have a social media presence. But the reality is, what it communicates to the women we want to date is that you don't live in today's day and age, that you don't know what you're doing, that you don't fit in, that you probably have bad fashion, that you probably don't have a big social circle, that you probably don't travel as much. Because if you would travel a lot, well, you would want to connect with your friends all over the world, right? And you do that best with Instagram because it's kind of from a social engineering aspect, the best tool. Instagram is designed in a way that really capitalizes on the human need to show status, on the human need to connect, on the human need to gossip. Instagram is designed perfectly for that. So therefore, if you want to be a dude who's social, who's interacting, who's traveling, who has friends from different areas of life, well, you probably would have an Instagram. And if you don't have one, you probably don't have all that other stuff. It really doesn't put you in a good light. It really is a bit suspicious at best for women, and it really drastically is gonna reduce the amount of options you have in the dating pool. Can you still talk to a chick during the day, get her on an instant date, meet her the next day on another date, maybe, take her home that night? Of course, it works. That's how it's been, back in the days before social media. But then you're basically relying on only these types of interactions. And that brings me to the 4th reason, which is the ability to turn a maybe or flake or girl that's, not been in your town for a long time, or a girl that friend-zoned you, into a yes, into a date, into a potential lover, into something more than a no. And, you know, that goes in hand with the third reason. Girls think it's weird if you don't have an Instagram. So having one enables her to follow you over a longer period of time. It enables her, like I mentioned, to get to know you. It enables her to kind of see a different side of you. It enables her to create attraction for you over a longer period of time. This is really crucial. As I mentioned, yes, you can pick up a girl, I don't know, on the beach, take her home the same day. You can meet a girl at the club and, you know, make out with her there. You can meet a girl on the street, go on a date the next day, have something crazy happening. Cool. But all of these basically interactions rely on the girl being totally into you right away. So now you need amazing game. You probably have to be pretty good looking and so on. On Instagram, if you do the right stuff with visual storytelling, with portraying certain levels of status. And I'm not talking about Ferraris, I'm not talking about champagne. I'm talking about being a cool guy, having a nice lifestyle, you know, loving yourself, being genuinely curious about the world, being genuinely creative, having a passion for something, no matter what it is. All these things are very attractive attributes that you can communicate over a longer period of time. So the girl is like, oh, when I first met this guy, I think he was just an average dude. He was a bit shy. He didn't look that good. His style wasn't that great. But wow, this guy is actually cool. He's doing cool stuff. Maybe I should meet him for a date, which basically goes on in her head unconsciously. And then what happens as an action is, like I mentioned, she will tap one of your stories. She will make a comment, right? She will basically send some form of invitation. And the best thing about that is you do this with so many girls at the same time. Imagine you meet, 300 girls on the street and you get like 100 Instagrams in a year, right? That's very realistic. You can easily do double or triple that, but let's keep it super conservative. If you're a guy actually, engaging in the dating world and starting the cold approach, well, suddenly I have 100 girls that I'm interested in because I saw them in real life. I had a conversation with them. They were beautiful in the daylight without makeup, maybe even. So I'm really into them. They all follow me. And I'm posting like a 15-second story. Now with 30 seconds of work, maybe posting some nice landscape or me doing something funny or a friend took a video of me working out, whatever it is, that's more going into detail in different videos. But with 30 seconds of work, I'm now talking to 100 girls at the same time. This is much more efficient than I would needing to text 100 girls and then see who responds, So you see why me as the Austrian efficient kind of guy also really loves this method. I'm obviously ignoring this video, all the toxic stuff of social media and getting into false beauty standards and endless scrolling and all that stuff. I know, right? But if you're the kind of guy watching videos like this, I trust you to be intelligent enough to be a creator versus a consumer. I trust you to be strong-minded enough to not fall into these habits too much. This is the summary of that. If you really want to understand how social media works, if you really want to take your dating life serious and want to get coaching on this stuff, I can help you. I can totally redo your social media. I can help you start cold approaching. I can even on live workshops do photo sessions with you. I have an in-house photographer who not only shoots you, puts you in the right clothing, teaches you how to pose, but also prepares your entire Instagram feed for you, delivers the photo prepared. All you got to do is upload it in the way that she is preparing it. You don't need to do any thinking, and it's going to massively change your results with ladies. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and welcome to my new studio here in a secret country I just moved to. Can comment below to guess what country I'm in. The shelf is still a bit empty. I'm going to get rid of this thing. So in the upcoming videos, you're going to see the studio changing a bit, but this is my current setup. I'm really happy because I finally have a place to sit down and not constantly build my light and take down the tripod again and put it all in a suitcase and then travel to the next place. If you click through my videos, you will see I have a lot of different setups over the months, which is obviously part of the lifestyle, which I enjoy. But now I finally have a base again after being nomadic for like 15 months. So you will see this background much more in an adjusted version as I'm slowly moving into here. Appreciate you watching and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.